Hello, habari, bonjour, salam, and welcome to the Africa Power Hour. I'm your host, Nadia Abdallah, an impact-driven leader, a Pan-African, and a mental health advocate. The Africa Power Hour is a Pan-African virtual storytelling network that brings together individuals from different parts of Africa in different parts of industries to really retell our stories and emphasize on why we need to create the Africa that we want. Now, on today's episode, I'm a bit nervous, guys. We have a very, very special person. This is somebody who, to me, I believe he's resilient, he's hardworking, he's intentional, but he is very goal-oriented. This is none other than Elvis. Now, I'll give you a bit about him before I introduce him to you all. Elvis is the founder and CEO of Uamuzi Foundation, an organization dedicated to advocating for social justice, empowering youth, women, and persons living with disabilities. Now, Elvis' passion leverages on technology and real-time data to drive impact change and has earned him a reputation as a dynamic, passionate leader for social justice and tech space. Now, I don't want to say much about him because I want to let this gentleman tell us a bit about himself. Elvis, welcome.
Hi.
How are you?
And thank you.
Why am I feeling nervous?
I have that effect on you.
Yeah.
Not just you, anyone.
Anyone.
Yeah.
I actually thought it was on me only to just make me feel special. Hello. These streets are a bit cold.
Okay.
Anyway, so Elvis, tell us about yourself.
First of all, before I begin, it's an honor to be here. You know, I reached out to you a while back last year just for us to have this conversation, but I believe better late than never. So thank you so much for this. You're doing an amazing job.
Thank you.
Yeah, so as you've heard, I'm Sitati Elvis. I'm the founder and CEO of Uamuzi. I'm an environmentalist. I'm an innovator. I'm a tech enthusiast. I'm a mentor. What else? And I'm dyslexic.
And what's that one thing that when we find out about Elvis, we will be excited?
Change maker.
Change maker.
Yeah.
All right. So you've talked about Uamuzi. First of all, to our Pan-African audience, what is Uamuzi?
So Uamuzi is a social networking platform. It's an idea that I've worked on for almost 10 years now. It's a platform, a safe space that we created so that we can give the young people in Kenya an equal opportunity where they can be part of decision-making process at every level of governance. Where one, they can have a meaningful engagement among themselves and also with the elected leaders at their convenience. Two, they can access verified and credible information on time, and at the same time, they can freely express their thoughts, their ideas, and their concerns.
Yeah. Where was your passion driven, or what was the passion driven by? As
we came up with this idea, as I told you almost a decade ago, I was still in campus, and you know, that's the time we had just promulgated our constitution. And at this time, we realized public participation is enshrined in our constitution, that is in Article 10. Access to information, Article 35, and freedom of expression, that is in Article 33. But for as much as we talk about public participation, we have to meet in person for us to be able to deliberate on issues. And because of this, very few people get the opportunity to attend such forums. And this is because of barriers, such as the distance you have to cover for you to go to these places. It's time consuming. We have cultural barriers where in some cultures, especially in marginalized communities, young girls cannot sit in the same forums with older people for them to be able to deliberate on issues. We have political party affiliation. Because you come from this party, your voices might not be given attention. We have religious barriers, we have disability barriers, age barriers, among others. And also, when you attend this forum, you realize that the few people who get to attend these forums, when they leave these spaces and go back to their homes and tell people what was discussed, you realize that the information gets distorted as it moves from one person to the other. And at the same time, you have people who are shy. People who cannot freely express their thoughts in front of people. And that's why we decided to come up with a digital tool, because we realized that it's only through technology that you can be able to bring every single person's idea into the decision-making table, where they can express themselves, they can give their opinions, and at the same time, they can just be part of the discussions and access information for them to be able to have a meaningful engagement. Yeah.
And on a personal impact, could you share a specific story on how the foundation has positively impacted an individual?
Maybe I can just give a recent story of the recent Gen Z uprising.
Okay.
That's the time we just released our app.
Okay. Congratulations on that, by the way.
Thank you so much. And the last time we failed, the second time we failed was in 2020.
Okay.
But now I decided to take time to just reflect on the failures and what have you. And so in the 3 years that we took a break, we decided to come up with a very beautiful app. And by God's grace, because you see, by the time we were failing in 2020, that's when our social media was blowing up. For me, I saw that this was also an opportunity for me to grow with the other platforms, the Facebook and the Instagram and what have you. But they say God's timing is always the best. So we released this app in June. That's the time now the uprising, the Gen Z uprising had just started. So when people heard that there's an alternative platform where they can freely talk about all these issues, it was a really big thing for us and also for everyone else, because guys were able to air out their issues, guys were able to air out their frustration. And at the same time, we also use this platform to be able to educate people on the different clauses that were on the bill. So people got to know what the bill is all about, because this bill is a very big document. And people like us who are dyslexic, we cannot just sit and be able to read through the document. But we now thought of an idea of how can we be able to educate people and tell people the different, break it down in a simple way, so that at least they can be able to consume this information, and through that they can know how can we be able to now take this conversation now to the next level, because for as much as we are engaging on a personal capacity, also the leaders need to know what people are talking about. And for us, just being able to give people a safe space for them to be able to deliberate on issues, get information and what have you, it was a really big plus for us.
Congrats.
Yep.
And before we just move on, and if you don't mind, could you just explain what being dyslexic is?
Dyslexic is a learning disorder. I didn't know I was dyslexic until early 2021. And I got to know through a movie. There's this movie, I'm a big fan of local content. So I was watching this movie called Just in Time. It's you know it? Sarah Hassan. So in the process, there's this guy who alikuwa amechona mtoto. And in the process, mtoto akamwambia, can you read for me a book? So this guy, he was hesitant to read this book. So in the process, he was like, no, I can't read because I'm dyslexic. Then, so this kid was like, what's dyslexic? What's being dyslexic? Like, what's dyslexia? So this guy was like, whenever I read, I just see words floating around in my eyes and what have you. So I was like, wow, okay, this is a disorder. And it's something that I've been struggling with since I was young. And I'm left-handed. And being a lefty, my mom never liked me being a lefty. So anytime I would write with my left hand, my mom used to beat me so that I use my right hand. And you see, in life, they say people who are left-handed use the right side of the brain. And vice versa. So me being just my mom making me change from being a left-handed to a righty, I felt that she's the one who messed up with my brain. So growing up and now just realizing that, things I cannot understand like other people. Whenever I read, I don't really grasp things. So I never told my mom this, but I used to blame it on her. I used to just in my mind, I used to just tell her, you're the one who messed up with me. But now when I came to know about dyslexia, I did my research and I got to realize that in life, dyslexia might be a disorder, but at the same time, it's also like a blessing. And I realized that the best brains in this world are people with dyslexia. People with dyslexia have a different way of viewing the world. And when you look at the best innovators in this world, you can talk about the person who came up with Ford, the person who came up with Virgin Group, the person who came up with iPhone.
Yeah.
You know, like these are people who are dyslexic.
Yeah.
When you look at the best actors in this world, when you look at the best sportsmen and women in this world, when you look at the best musicians, they're all dyslexic. And yes, it was a challenge for me to just believe in it and just to talk about it. But right now, you know, I always tell people I'm dyslexic.
Yeah.
I'm trying to also create awareness so that whatever I didn't know about dyslexia, at least I can use my voice and my platform to at least educate people, so that even for the upcoming parents, you know, we have a very messed up education system where you know, you have to be graded like everyone else based on a specific structure. But you see, there are people who are not good in school, but they are very good in other things.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm a very good engineer. Like, I like just innovating things. And that's where now dyslexia comes in, because now we are very different when it comes to other people.
And honestly, you talked about most people who are great in this world are dyslexic. I mean, Uamuzi Foundation.
True.
Hey, give yourself some, you know.
Yeah, and you see, even before, when I came up with this idea, I used to sell this idea to people.
Okay.
I used to tell them, this is what I want to do. This is my vision. But people really never bought into it.
Okay.
But then I realized the way I'm seeing things is different from how they are also viewing it. So when I did this project in 2017, the second time we did this project is in 2018. I did it all until 2020. Social media was not big back then. Also on our app, we're using blue as our color theme. You know, back then it was only Facebook that was big. So I used to tell people download my app. Once they downloaded the app, wangeangalia, the first thing they would ask me is, Kwani is in Facebook? So it really used to piss me off, because you know, I'm trying to be different. I'm trying to channel my own vision, and you're comparing me to someone else or something else. So also during this period, I also did so much selling my idea to different people and just doing proposals. I've sent proposals to, I think, all organizations in this world. I don't think there's someone who's not received my email. And 95% of the people I sent proposals out to never replied to my emails. And the 5% who replied, most of them told me, you have a great idea, but we are not in a position to support you. And others told me, yes, you're doing great, and one day we'll come to see how far you are. When we got to 2020, I told myself, you know what, this is my vision. People might not buy into it, but it's only me who believes in it. I'm not a techie. I don't have a background in technology. I had a friend that I started this project with. So when we started, I told him, I'll run the company, but I want you to be in charge of technology. So you see, in life, we have people who believe differently in your vision. For me, I was looking at the greater goal where we want to really impact people using this technology. But for him, he was looking at the money aspect. And you see, when you and this is something, you know, nowadays I'm a very big mentor. And I tell people, don't start an innovation because you want to make money. Start something because you're solving a problem, and you look at the bigger picture, which is the impact that this innovation is going to have. So when we were failing, I told myself, let me take a step back and just learn the nitty-gritties about technology. Just know the different coding languages, where are we going to store our data, how are we going to market it? You know, like the two things that I used to overlook. I started learning technology. I don't know how to code because you know, I wanted to learn how to code, but now being a dyslexic, I told myself, pia kusoma mingi, I don't have the time for that. So I decided to just learn the general knowledge about technology, what languages I'm going to code my new platform with, and how I'm going to go about it. I realized that I failed because back then I got an outside team from University of Nairobi to do this project for me. Once they finished school, that is in 2018, when we are now releasing our app, these guys, they graduated from school and they started doing their own things.
Okay.
And now in the process, I told myself, when I start all over again, I need to have my own engineering academy or my own engineering team. And that's how now I came up with my engineering academy.
Okay.
So what I do with my engineering academy, with which I'll talk about later in the show, we normally go and get very good engineers in universities and colleges, because I realized there are so many software engineers who graduate from school. And whenever you go to look for work, your employer will not ask you what you got in school, but they'll ask you what experience do you have, what have you built. And so I realized that these guys they are rich in the theory bit, but they're not rich in the practicals. So I told them, you guys come on board. Me have a very beautiful project that I'm working on. By working on it, you're going to develop your skills. You're going to be in a team setup, and at the same time, you'll have something to put in your CV. So I started it as a joke, and after a while, I started getting requests from people not only here in Kenya but also outside Kenya. So I work also right now. I have an engineer based in Nigeria. I have an engineer who's based in Rwanda. He's Congolese. I've worked with an engineer who's based in Ethiopia. I've also been engaging with different very good designers who are based in Egypt. So coming up with this project, I decided to now empower these guys who are still in school. And by doing that also, because now our plan is we want to pilot this platform in Kenya, then upscale it to other African countries and even beyond Africa. I decided to now at least have my own co-engineering team that I'm going to now at least do this with them.
Nice. And from what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing, you've taken a lot of leadership to leadership roles up and apale. And so my question is, or my comments are, you've been recognized as an exceptional leader, passionate leader. And so what are some of the key leadership principles that guide you, especially when it comes to Uamuzi Foundation?
I just like being open. We're always friendly with my team. For as much as, yes, we are working on something big, we also need to build a relationship. So just having a relationship with them, just being open with them. One thing I'll also credit you is, we met when you were still a deputy minister. And back then I was just working on my idea. I didn't have anything to showcase. But you gave me a listening ear. And that's something that I'll also just say thank you for that. And I also learned a lot from you, because you see, as a leader, you need to give guidance, give direction, and also lead from within. And those are the things that I just try to do. I'm also trying to just build a culture where now my team can be free. I give them the opportunity to be creative, be innovative, and just don't really dictate what they do. I want them to give me ideas, not me giving them ideas. So those are just the few qualities that I use. And
that's a brilliant thing. I think listening is way, way more important than always trying to be the best at everything. And I'm glad, I was even telling Lynn, or my manager, I was telling her that, Elvis, we have to, and I remember during the graduation, Uamuzi Foundation graduation, and you reminded me again, and you're like, when you're on your podcast, and I know you highlighted the fact that I only talk to women. So this is a breakthrough. I'm having a gentleman on my show. And when we come to, I want us to come down to challenges and opportunities, right? What are some of your biggest challenges that you faced? I mean, you've talked about how, you failed twice and came back again. But can you go much deeper into that? Why is it that it failed? Was it unintentional, or was it things that you had overlooked, or qualities that you didn't have at that particular time? And what did you learn from it?
Maybe I'll say there are things I overlooked. As I told you, I had my co-founder. I told him, you're the one who's going to work on the tech bit of it. So for me, I really never delved into understanding the technologies that we use to develop the app. And yes, yuli kuje kaniramba.
Kakuramba.
Yes. And yes, I realized as a leader, you need to be hands-on. You really need to understand everything that is happening around the organization. For me, I was really focusing on just how are we going to run this to take this project to the next level, but I really never understood the nitty-gritties behind the technology.
Okay.
So when now I failed, I told myself, you know what, let me just go and learn the basics. And that really helped me because nowadays what I do is whenever I get people who want to join my organization, the first thing I do is I normally have the initial meeting with them.
Okay.
Just for me to understand where they're coming from and just to understand why they want to join our organization and just for me to sell my vision and just the culture behind our organization. From there, I'll be able to understand you better. And then now, after that, now I get my tech team to now do the technical interview. And one thing they tell me is after we have our initial interview, I tell them, you guys, I'm not a techie. And they tell me, wacha, you're lying to us. Because now I can sit in tech spaces and at least I can talk to you about cloud. I can talk to you about AI and machine learning. I can talk to you about blockchain. I can talk to you about the different languages that you can use, like the front end, which languages are using for the front end, for the back end. So it's been fun. It's really been a beautiful learning opportunity. I also learn a lot from my team. What we do is because we work virtually, we normally have team meetings every week. So like on Tuesday, we have our whole tech team meeting. Then on Wednesday, we have a meeting for our backend of our DevOps and AI. And then on Friday, we normally have a meeting for the front end and design.
Nice.
So what I do is, because now I'm trying to empower my team, I have team leads.
Okay.
So like the Tuesday meeting, my lead engineer takes charge. Then on the Wednesday meeting, my lead backend takes charge. And then now the Friday meeting, my lead frontend takes charge. So what I do is I just sit there and listen. I don't talk.
Okay.
So whenever they say they throw in these words, techie words, I go to Google. Look it up. Inasema nini. So slowly I just keep learning because you see, they say learning is you can never stop learning. And for me, being a dyslexic, I don't like reading.
Okay.
I'm a very poor reader. So what I do is I'm a very good listener. Okay. So I'm a big I like listening from people whenever they talk. I'm a big fan of podcasts. Okay. That's why I'm a really big fan of your podcast. I used to watch you a lot.
You guys have heard that?
So just by listening to people, that's how I get to learn and just get to at least better myself.
So what I've heard is division of labor is important.
Yes.
With whatever
you need a team.
You need a team.
You cannot do anything without a team. And you see, even for me, when I do my mentorship, I always tell innovators, because I do a lot of mentorship in universities and colleges, and I normally tell innovators there are 3 things that you need to look out for. One, you need to have a solid problem that you're solving. Okay. Because don't just get don't start something because you want to make money. Start something because you have a problem that you're solving, and it has to be a concrete problem. 2, you need to have passion. Okay. Because you see, passion is what will always make you start all over again whenever you fail. And 3, you need a team. They say teamwork makes the dream work. You can walk alone and you'll walk fast. But when you walk with others, you'll walk far.
Kabisa.
You need a team. And I'm happy you have a team.
I have a team. I finally have a team. And I know for a lot of people who know me, or the ones who really know me, I know they're celebrating that Nadia finally is literally dividing her work to other people. And I think it's really great. But one of the things that really caught my attention about Uamuzi Foundation is the fact that you really focus on marginalized communities. Why is that so important?
When you talk about marginalized communities or groups, we focus on the youth, the women, and the persons living with disabilities.
Yes.
And for us, we are looking at it in 2 ways. That is how they can participate in engagements and also in leadership. So when you talk about leadership, with the high unemployment rate right now in the country, you don't expect a young person to be able to have this big budget that comes with campaigns. And so we thought of an idea of how can we be able to give these guys a platform where they can be able to connect with their constituents, and at the same time just make it cheap, and also just give them a safe space where they can sell their manifestos and their agenda. Because for a long time in this country, our politics has been all about tribes. You know, like wewe unatoka kabila gani and what have you. But now the beauty about the last election, we changed the narrative. People talked about issues. And now because we have already started the conversation, we cannot go back to tribal bases. So now we are just trying to see how can we be able to get more young people, more youth to be able to take up some of these leadership positions. Because when we get these guys as leaders, then it means our issues are going to be met, or are going to be to be served. At the same time, when you talk about women, there's this discussion about the 2/3 gender rule. And we've not been able to achieve this because also women don't like running for these political positions because they might not have the budget or the money as their male competitors. And at the same time, they might not have the political muscle. So many of them opt to go for door-to-door campaigns, go to markets and what have you to sell their agenda. But on our platform, we have a very beautiful feature called Uongozi. So on Uongozi, when you sign up as a woman running for example, a member of parliament position, you and 10 other aspirants who are running for that position, we are going to put all of you in the same level playing field, meaning you're going to access the same constituents, all of you. Because when you look at our current social platforms, X, I'm sure that's what mostly people use for their campaigns. The more followers you have, the more muscle you have. You might get an aspirant who has 100,000 followers. You get one who has 1 million followers, but at the same time you get one who has like 1,000 followers. If these three people use their platforms to campaign, then it means there's one who's way ahead than the other one. So for our platform, we decided to give every single person an equal opportunity for them to be able to sell their agenda, sell their manifesto, whether you are a youth, whether you are a woman, or whether you are a person living disabilities. And when you talk about also person living disabilities, these guys, they find it hard to go around to sell their agendas, to sell their, to do their campaigns. So we decided to also give them also an equal opportunity for them to just be able to sell their agenda out there on the same platform, same level playing field as women, as youth, and also as person with disabilities. And when you talk about participation, we have cultures where young people cannot sit in the same barazas as old people because the older people are perceived to have more knowledge than young people. Utaenda hapo useme, oh, me, this is what I think. Watakwambia weka chini, what are you telling us? Hatukusikizi. And it's worse for women because women in these marginalized communities are there to be seen but not to be heard. So utakatu hapo, you'll just sit pretty, but you'll not, you'll not be given an opportunity to talk. And it's even worse for a young woman who's disabled because you end up facing double discrimination. So we decided, we realized that it's only through technology that these people can be able to give their opinions at their own convenience. They can be able to take part in surveys and polls where now when you use data or analytics for more informed decision, then their voices will also be taken into account. And also for persons living with disabilities, these people cannot go around to attend these forums. So just imagine having a platform where at your own convenience, mali unafanya jobo, you can just, engage, access information, and, be part of the conversation.
And I think that's a smart thing to do, especially for politics, seeing how a lot of women always have a hard time. Some women also try to or opt out of politics because of other things that they don't want to face. So I feel like having a platform like yours, it kind of cuts down unnecessary things that women try to stay away from. So I want us to talk about the future of Elvis, the future of Uamuzi. What's your vision? And I'm going to ask you in two sets. What's your vision for Uamuzi Foundation? But then I'm also interested to know, what's your vision for Elvis? as well?
For me, my vision is to leave an impact in this world, an impact where people at the end of the day will say, you know, our voices are heard because of this guy. We are able to be part of the conversation because of this guy, which now it will be a big plus for me. As an organization, with our platform, as I told you earlier, we plan on piloting it here in Kenya. Then after that, we plan on upscaling to other African countries and even beyond Africa. But our main focus group is Africa, because Africa has a youthful population with a young democracy. And I believe that Uamuzi is going to shape the future of Africa, where we are going to have progressive leaders, where young people who are the majority are going to be heard and felt. You know, whatever decisions you make, at least you'll be sure that people are able to listen to whatever you're saying. And at the same time, you also need to create employment. Yeah, you know, it's sad that our president goes to other countries to look for employment for us. Instead of creating these opportunities back here within the country. So for us, we just want to see how can we be able to create employment through as people work on this beautiful project. But at the same time, we also have a very beautiful feature called Ubunifu, which means creativity. You know, right now in the world, creative economy is now the biggest employer. Young people are able to they're able to earn a living through their craft. And also, we are happy that at least there are platforms that have started monetizing here in Kenya, like Facebook and YouTube and what have you. But now we need to have our own local platform, locally made, locally owned, that also will be able to give our creatives an equal opportunity for them to also just be able to get money through their craft. Because there's been this discussion where people say that the young people in Africa don't make as much money as their counterparts in other continents. So just imagine having our own platform that will be able to cater and look at the needs of our creatives here in Africa, or here in Kenya. For me, I'm a creative myself. Just, you know, not being good in school, I decided to now venture into other things. So I'll really look into the needs of the creatives, because now being in this space, I really need to empower these people.
Kabisa. And looking ahead, I'm so curious to know, how do you see technology and data continuing to play a very important role when it comes to social justice, especially in marginalized communities?
You know, Kenya, this is the Silicon Savannah.
I know.
And you know, there are very beautiful innovations that have come from Kenya. I believe we are the top here in Africa. By people coming up with such innovations, then I believe now we are going to really change how we view the marginalized people or the marginalized communities. Data is really important, because, you know, data also helps us to come up with more informed decisions. Because for a very long time, we've just been making decisions based on our perceptions. But now we need to make more informed decisions based on data. And I believe now data is going to play a really key role moving forward. No, not just that, but also things like also AI. Like for us, we are building a very powerful machine learning algorithm that will help us to recommend posts for our users. It will help us to modernize, to moderate content. It will help us to also analyze data. And we're also building a very powerful blockchain technology. I know blockchain is the future.
Yes, it is.
We are going to use blockchain, which will help us to decentralize sensitive and personal data. Blockchain is good because it uses end-to-end encryption. I know hizi platforms zingine zinadanganyanga, they use end-to-end encryption. Hakuna kitu. Because you know, they have middlemen who at the end of the day, they listen to people's conversations, they sell people's data.
That's so true.
But you see, being in this civic duty space, we really need to have a platform that is secure, and also a platform that people can really use, and also just to have you know, one thing that social media they do is you need to build confidence with your people.
Yeah.
People really need to be confident with your platform. And I believe just having a platform like Uamuzi using blockchain is going to really solve all these problems. Yeah.
Okay. And so I want to know, what's your parting shot to the person listening to this? Because honestly, Elvis, you're such a fantastic and brilliant gentleman. Like what you're saying, the future of Uamuzi, what Uamuzi is in the present and what Uamuzi went through in the past. It's amazing. I do see how you think differently. And from the day that I gave you my ear to listen up until where we are today, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
But like to others who've not engaged with you, what would you like to tell them, especially when it comes to these communities that you're focusing on? The youth, the women, the person living with disabilities. Is there hope?
Of course, there's hope. Even when you look at the Gen Z uprising, people show that they really love this country. And also you can see that people are really passionate about leadership. And people are really passionate about having a beautiful future. And I believe that the conversation have started. For a long time, we never had these conversations. And at least I'm happy that right now we're having this conversation. And we need to take the conversation to the next level where every single person can be part of this engagement. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, you need to first think about this country. I believe we are the change makers. No one will come to save us. And it's only through technology that we can be able to channel a better future. I'm hopeful about the future.
What is the future of Africa? Maybe you can talk to them. The
future of Africa is bright. We need to have progressive leaders. We need to have progressive youth, people who are passionate about the future of Africa. Africa is a really rich continent. And I believe that we are really going to better this continent and also better this, have a beautiful future. Technology and data are very important when it comes to the empowerment of Africa. We just had a conversation with Elvis and I am beyond wowed. The way he thinks, the way he positions what he does, and the impact that he has is amazing. The Engineering Academy to the volunteering program, I mean, it's a holistic approach when it comes to data, technology, social justice, and just empowerment in our community. Youth, women, persons living with disabilities. These are important people who drive the progress and development of our countries. Now, this is a conversation that you really need to have because Elvis's Uamuzi Foundation is that platform that is carrying all the big data that we need to solve our problems. Elvis, I am wowed again. Thank you. This is amazing. What you're doing is amazing. And I've said this before, from the day that we met up until today, I'm really proud of what you're doing. Thank you. I love your resilience. I love the fact that you don't give up, but I love the fact that you actually equip yourself with knowledge each time you either face a hiccup or you blow up, whichever it is. I think it's amazing. And please continue doing what you're doing. Thank you. I want us to sit here again, well, not here, but somewhere around the world in the next 5 years. And you are now bringing up blockchain and showing us how transformational it can be for our continent. Thank you so much. So let me throw you under the bus. Yes. The last time we met, I'd suggested to you that I want you to be part of my board. So what? I really want you. Why do I feel like this is like a marriage proposal? Will you marry me? Like, can you be part of my board? One thing I like about you is you're really passionate about communication and PR. You're really good at it. I always see your posts on LinkedIn. You've really empowered people. You've really impacted so many lives. You're gonna make me cry. And I believe you being part of this amazing project that we're building. I believe you have a seat. At your table. Always at your table. There. I gave you this proposal in 2021. 3 years later. Most definitely, I will be part of your board. I will sit on your table. And I will be at, I was about to say I'll be at your pleasure, but I will be at your service. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. And I do hope Uamuzi grows. And now that I'll be part of the board, I think it's going to do phenomenal. And with everything, storytelling,
communication. These are the most fundamental elements that we all need.
True.
In our work.
Because actually that's one thing I really realized, because for me, for a long time, I never liked talking about my failures.
Okay.
And, you know, being one thing with being dyslexic is you really struggle with self-esteem.
Yeah. Okay.
Your self-confidence is really shattered. And just being part of these failures and what have you, I never liked talking about it. And you see, even this is the first time I'm talking about being dyslexic. I've never talked about this with anyone, not even my bro. Yeah.
Bro, wherever you are, I'm special. Okay.
Yeah,
but I appreciate it.
Yeah. So I realized by just telling people about your failures, people really resonate with it.
Yeah.
For the last 2 months, I've been doing a lot of media tours. And me talking about my failures, I've realized people really reach out to just tell me, yo, we really like it, because, you know, you failed twice, but you're still doing it.
Yeah.
And what I can tell people is, don't be shy to talk about your stories. Don't be shy to talk about your failures, because failure does not define you. It's just a way of you looking at your of your mistakes. I always tell people a failure is like it's a lesson. It's a lesson. Just take that lesson, learn from it, and be better, do better, and you're gonna be far.
Agreed. Can I get a high five? I'm part of your board.
Yes.
Till next time, this is Africa Power Hour, and I'm your host, Nadia Abdallah.